Nick Richards of the Charlotte Hornets, who is 33% rostered. I was shocked, like a cartoon where the eyes come out of the sockets, that he was only 33% rostered. How am I even recommending it? He had like 7 okay games in a row, like where he only averaged 8 points on 60% shooting with like 8 rebounds and a block. He got hurt for 4 days. I think everyone was like, I don't need this. Yeah. Please add him. Mark Williams is, quote, not close to returning. In Charlotte Hornets speak, that means his career is over. As a starter for Nick Richards, 9 points, 9 boards, 1.5 blocks, 65% shooting, 71% from the line. Not bad if you're in a cat league and rostering centers. Hornets have 4 games next week. You just have to add him. Ken, who's your waiver wire suggestion?
I'm going to ride the Harrison Barnes roller coaster for a week. Hey, he's having a terrible season, but he's exploded for 39 points Thursday. Had 32 points on Monday. He seems really old, but he's only 31. Kings score 118.7, basically 119 points per game. That ranks 7th in the association. They've been picking up the pace lately. Kings have 4 games next week. So I'm in for a 1-week stream of Harrison Barnes just to see if he keeps this heater going.
Ken, I want to let everybody know that Ken is one of our sales guys at RotoWire, and he started off his Harrison Barnes take with, "Hey, this guy sucks." Setting expectations early, getting the negative out of the way. I love it. This is Wolf of Wall Street over here. But no, I think that's fine, Ken. Barnes is one of those guys who, on 4-game weeks, you hang him off the waiver wire if he's going to shoot 20 times a game.
My first recommendation of the week is a guy we talked about numerous times this year. His roster percentage is trending up in a big way, even in the past 12 hours. He's gained about 10%. Jonathan Kuminga is now 60% rostered forward for the Golden State Warriors. He has absolutely been thriving since moving back to the bench role. Got Draymond Green back with this team now. Over the past week, Kuminga is a top 10 player with averages of 25.6 points, 6.2 rebounds, 1.2 steals, and 1.8 three-pointers. He had a giant game against the Kings last night. That's like 3 giant games in a row. He's absolutely worth rostering. Golden State does only have 3 games in the next week, but I think you scoop up Kuminga and just ride him for as long as he stays hot.
John Konchar of the Memphis Grizzlies. I wanted to recommend Luke Kennard, but I'm pretty sure I recommended him last week. He's only 30. He's only 33% rostered. Kennard is 4% rostered. Konchar is. So this is pretty much a deep league suggestion. He's coming off an 11, 10, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, double-double. The game before that, he had 5 blocks. The game before that, he had 6 assists. Past 4 games for Konchar, 6, 6, and 4 with 2.5 stocks. I don't know why he is Soggenly Dikembe Mutombo, despite being, and I double-checked this, 6'5", 210 pounds. The Grizzlies have 4 games this week. That is a huge, huge portion of this. If you are a 16-team league, he is addable because there is 4 games, and he's shown stuff lately.
Someone must legally play for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes, they need to roster. They need to put 5 players on the court. And again, Luke Kennard is the preferred ad by recommending him last week. So if you're a deep league, Konchar.
I'm going to bring up our cover guy, who frankly is probably not available in your league. But make sure Brandon Miller of your Charlotte Hornets is not available on the waiver wire. You got to check. On Wednesday morning, he was available in 50% of leagues. He then shot up to 69% rostered on Thursday afternoon. When I checked Friday morning, it's up to 70% rosters. But Miller is on fire. He's getting big scoring opportunities with Scary Terry now in Miami. This team's building around Ball, Miller, and Mark Williams if he ever is able to walk again. Just make sure Miller's not available. Spend that fab if you're in a weekly budget free agent bidding league. Over the last 7 days, he's a top 25 player. He's lighting it up, and he's finally getting stocks. Kind of a weird, it's the opposite of the rookie wall. We're seeing a late blossoming of Brandon Miller as they're giving him a lot of shots in Charlotte. And I think Ball's making his life a little easier. Having a legit point guard versus maybe more a little scattered Rozier makes things easier for a traditional wing like Miller. Shannon, who's your second pick? You're bringing back a pod favorite.
Yeah, Gunner from Phoenix, Sam Merrill. Guard, 24% rostered, top 60 player over the past week. Just crushing it from downtown, 5.7 threes per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 18.7 points over the past 2 games. Cleveland has 4 games next week. We know what Sam Merrill is. Those 5.7 3-pointers seem like it's an inflated number, but he should, his normal click, he's right around 50% over that stretch. He's just a volume 3-point guy. He's going to get tons of looks from downtown. Over the past 3 games, 12 attempts per game on 47% shooting. That's not unsustainable from a guy like Merrill. I don't think there's much value outside of that 3-pointer, and it's going to come and go. But right now, he fits the need for Cleveland. If you're in the market for Sam Merrill, Luke Kennard, same type of players, similar value. I think I prefer Kennard a little bit more because his role with that battered Memphis team is a little bit more secure. But Merrill's that next option for you.
Ayo Dosunmu, the Chicago Bulls, someone I almost swore I would never recommend again, but this is how this works. Zach LaVine's out for another week, so you're fairly safe there. Dosunmu finally showing some aggression scoring the basketball. 15 points on 60, 50, 94 shooting. Yes, that will come down, but he's taken at least 2 free throws in every game, which is for him a massive accomplishment. Also 3 assists, 2.5 boards, 1.7 stocks. This is partially a recommendation because you have the trade deadline coming up, and LaVine, DeRozan, all these guys they're on the block, they're in the ether, and so Dosunmu's playing well. His teammates could get traded. You never know. Worth exploring. Bulls with 3 games, so it's not necessarily like a must add in 12. It doesn't have to be a main priority in 12 teamers, but it is one of only 8 teams with 3 games this week.
So I went really boring with the Italian stallion Simone Fontechio playing for Utah, still starting at small forward for those guys. Utah has 4 games next week. Look, he's not particularly good in any one facet of the game, but he's kind of a poor man's Kelly Olynyk, doing okay everywhere. Last 4 games, he's scored in double digits in each of those 4 games. He's averaged 12.5 points, almost 6 rebounds, almost 3 triples, over 2 assists while shooting 56% from the field. The volume is never going to be there for Fontechio, but again, consistent in almost every category, and the Jazz have 4 games next week.
On my long shot, we're going to go with another rookie, Amen Thompson. I just can't get over my infatuation with both of the twins. I think they're fantastic. Their stock upside just intrigues me to no end. Amen for the Rockets is rostered in 20% of leagues right now. He's been a top 100 player over the past week, which did include 1 spot start when Freddie VanVleet was rested for a game. Over the past 6 games, Thompson is averaging 9.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, 2.2 assists, and 2.1 stocks. In that 1 spot start as well, we really saw everything he could do. 15 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. It was 0 for 2 from downtown, like his brother. He's still trying to find that long-range stroke, but he is an across-the-board contributor when he gets the minutes. He is now firmly a part of the Rockets rotation, and this Rockets team is somewhat, tumbling down the standings. They're 3-7 over their past 10. I would not be surprised especially if they keep losing, if they move a veteran or 2 and free up minutes for some of their young guys, including Thompson, for the stretch run.
They should absolutely do that. Any drop suggestions? I'm going to throw out Cam Johnson. Nets only have 3 games next week, one of 8 teams with only 3 games. And he's averaging 9 points a contest over his last 7 games. That looked like a fabulous trade for the Nets last year, but it's not really working out as well. So I think Cam Johnson's very droppable. You guys have any other drops?
Cam's a hold for me in 12 and 14 teamers. 10 teamers, absolutely. I think he's worth. There's better streaming options available.
Yeah, we got asked about Cam Johnson on Nick and I's, and I was like, 10-team points league. You don't have to drop him. You can. It's kind of borderline, but
I got one for you, Josh Giddey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he was on my bust list going into the season. He just doesn't fit that offense as well. They need more of a pure shooter in that spot. He drives too much, and he doesn't get fouled when he drives to the hoop.
I would say if you're in points leagues, points-based leagues, I like him quite a bit more. He does worry me with some of his efficiency. And over the past 3 games, for instance, only shooting 40% from the floor and 50% from the free throw line.
Here's our other drop candidate. All the others on the Mavericks. The Mavs have 3 points, 3 games next week. Who's been playing well outside of their star guards has wildly oscillated week to week. So I think if you have one of the others on the Mavs, you can drop them.